Are judicial rulings based solely on laws and facts?
I hope so.
While judges are supposed to be rational, mechanical, and deliberative, they're also human and are prone to being in good and bad moods. There's an old saying, justice is what the judge ate for breakfast, meaning there are numerous extraneous factors that can influence a judge's decision, such as what they had for breakfast. Welcome to Psych Papers, a podcast of bad content.
A podcast.
Welcome to a
podcast.
A podcast of bad content where we discuss interesting psychological studies and follow it up with our own research. Today's episode, we will discuss the hungry judge effect. I am Chris Cole. I have a PhD in psychology, and this is Joseph Tajaran.
I'm his friend.
My friend.
Yeah.
In the second half of the episode, we'll discuss the follow-up research that we conducted on what types of foods people crave when they're experiencing different types of emotions.
Ooh.
So Danziger, Levav, and Avnaim-Pesso tested this idea.
I have 9 pesos. I'm sorry. I had to say it out loud.
I have 9 pesos. They tested this idea about justice is what the judge ate for breakfast in the context of parole decisions made by experienced judges. They wanted to see how extraneous factors can sway the decision a judge makes on whether a prisoner receives parole or not. So the researchers suspected that making repeated judgments can deplete mental resources and simplify decision making. The idea is that sequential choices increases the likelihood of accepting the default outcome, such as denying a prisoner's request, as judges move through a series of cases. I believe this is referred to as like decision fatigue, where when you make a lot of decisions, this kind of like tires you out. But this can be restored via spending time in nature, resting, experiencing like a positive mood, or eating.
So are you saying basically if you've been making decisions all day, at the end of the day, you're just like, oh, whatever, you're more likely to make
it's hard
snap
to spend more
judgments,
time.
like making
Exactly.
the right.
It's hard to spend more time weighing the pros and cons and everything about the case. You get decision fatigue and you're like, all right, I'm just going to go with my default.
Fuck it, yeah.
So their data consisted of 1,112 judicial rulings. About 80% of the rulings were parole requests, and the rest were requests to change the terms of their parole, such as removing a tracking device or prison relocation. Their database included legal variables that appeared in the case file, such as number of previous incarcerations, gravity of the crime committed, months served, and whether a rehabilitation program would be available. Their data also included which judge presided over the case, how long each deliberation took. It included the time of day and the position in the order of decision. So was it the first decision that the judge made in the day, or was it the last one?
No, I was about to say this is all quantitative data, right?
This is all quantitative data. Yep.
They didn't send a survey to the judges like, what'd you eat for breakfast on this day? Or what?
No, this is all real data of real parole things. So the researchers weren't manipulating anything here. They were just gathering the data.
Just looking at the patterns in the data. Gotcha.
Yep. So the data also critically included the 2 daily food breaks that the judge takes. They have a late morning snack and lunch. I wonder if this will have a significant influence over their decisions.
Wait, hold up. Is this like a mandated snack that they had to take throughout the day? Or in general, did they take one?
I'm not sure if it's a mandated snack. I think they could like
skip
not take their snack break if they wanted, but they were allowed to take a late morning snack and then a lunch break every day, twice a day, and every judge took it. Okay, so what did they find? The likelihood of a favorable ruling, as in granting the parole request, is a lot greater at the beginning of the workday or after a food break compared to later in the sequence of cases. So the probability of a favorable ruling starts at around like 65%, then it steadily declines, and then you have a snack break, and then it jumps back up to 65%. It steadily declines again. The judge has lunch. It jumps back up to 65%, and then it steadily declines again.
Hold on.
So this is the hungry judge effect.
I can imagine the person that's in question just like, what time is my case? It's 12. No, it's 2 o'clock. Can we move it down to I want to say 12:30, right after lunch has this lunch. I only take afternoon
Seriously.
or morning calls, morning cases only.
When I learned about this study in maybe like social psych in undergrad or something, I started incorporating that into my life. If I had an interview or an important meeting, I would put it right after lunch, because that's when people are like happiest and like most like
Everyone's a hungry
nice
judge.
and amenable. Everybody, we are all hungry judges.
Whoa.
We all have to make decisions. Yeah.
Okay. You hear this?
Yep. So
if you're a judge out there, which is you are, you're listening to this and you are making calls left and right, whether you know it or not.
So they controlled for the specific judges presiding over the cases all of the legal attributes of the case that were available, such as like previous incarceration, severity of the crime committed, and the prisoner demographics like sex and nationality. They controlled for other things as well, and they also varied the statistical analyses, and they all achieved the same effect, where for every judge, they were more likely to rule in favor of a prisoner when their bellies were full.
Wow. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm sure lawyers have to know this, right? They look at the fucking thing. They have to, because that must be the first thing you learn in lawyer school. Or like, make sure to.
And they have a case at 11:45 a.m. right before his lunch break. They're like, fuck,
dude, you're so fucked right now. This guy's super hungry. You're not gonna get through. Just try to bump it after lunch.
Yeah, you got to slip the judge like a granola bar or a cookie or something.
Hey, big guy, I've been noticing. You look a little parched over here. I got you. A nice a Gatorade. And
got
a banana.
You a cookie and a Capri Sun.
Yeah, got you some Lunchables. Got you the one where you can make your own pizza with the fake pizza bread.
It'd be funny if after this study came out, like suddenly, like the judges start getting like showered with snacks from the lawyers.
Just kidding, bro.
They're like, hey, I know what you guys are trying to do, but I'm okay with it. So the takeaway is that when judges make repeated rulings, they start to show an increased tendency to rule in favor of the status quo, which is to deny the parole request. However, this tendency can be reset by taking a snack break when the judges get their little bellies full of food and snacks and yummy cookies.
I'm hungry. I don't want to give you parole. I just wanna go get my Capri Sun.
Okay, so it does seem like there are extraneous variables that can influence a judge's decision.
Okay.
And if we broaden these findings, this can apply to legislative decisions, medical decisions, financial, and university admission decisions.
Oh my gosh, Chris.
Yeah. So, like I was saying earlier, if you are going to schedule an interview or an important meeting, try to schedule it right after lunch, not right before lunch, or in the beginning of the day, or just bring some food to the meeting if you need to pull that method. So even experts are not immune to the influence of extraneous, irrelevant information. The caricature that justice is what the judge ate for breakfast might be appropriate to describe human decision-making in general.
That we just have to feel rested, we need to feel full in order for us to make our best calls, basically.
Yep, exactly.
Wow,
for us to be able to spend more time.
Wow, what an obvious thing to learn. Don't you hate it, Chris? I don't know if we talked about that in this podcast. When it comes to research, it's always frustrating where especially when you're doing it in industry, where the stakeholders are like, do you really have to do research on this? And you're like, yeah, probably helpful to get some data, and then you get the data and it proves that they're correct, and they're just like, man, we already knew this shit. Why we spend our fucking money on this? Oh man, what a bummer.
Yeah.
But you would have known if you were right had you not had the data. Now you know for sure you're right.
Yeah, it's important to kind of show like the obvious effects that we all kind of assume to be true, because those are what you build off of as the foundation for future studies. Being like, okay, how far does this effect go? Especially if these are decisions that we're making, potentially like determining like people's lives, the rest of people's lives. So it's like, we want to be able to understand all the factors that are at play. Now, to call out, there was another paper calling these results into question.
Ooh, I love this.
This is
I love
This
this.
is this is academic tea, okay?
This is yo, bro. Hey, bro. Now you're wrong, dog. You're wrong. Your p-value is way off, dog.
Yeah. This other paper claimed that they didn't take other important factors into their analysis. For example, represented versus unrepresented prisoners via like an attorney. So apparently in this study, represented prisoners go first and unrepresented prisoners go last. The board tries to complete all of the cases from one prison before it takes a break and starts with another prison after the break. So if you're a represented prisoner, you're more likely to be granted parole because you kind of have like more expert counsel helping you out. So if these prisoners are more likely to go first in each prison, then they're more likely to be granted parole, most likely. So who knows?
Are you saying so? It's a confounding variable. I don't know if that's the right phrase to use.
It is. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. It's a confounding variable. It might. Maybe when you add this variable into the analysis, maybe the hungry judge effect completely disappears. Maybe it just lessens a bit. Maybe it doesn't change it at all.
Yeah.
We don't know.
But we do know if you have an expert opinion, you probably will increase your likelihood of getting parole. I assume, right? That's what they. Yeah. That's probably a good assumption to make. Or based on
so
this
it's possible
hearing.
that the effect is still there. So it's possible that the hungry judge effect still exists. But maybe when you add this variable that they didn't account for in the analysis, maybe it just lessens a bit. Maybe it still exists, but it's just lessens. You know.
Don't academics beef on these like on these on these journals, like when like what is it called, Chris? So I post a study in a journal and then like someone posts like a retort like months later like, hey, think you're wrong, dog, and this is why.
It's called a clap. It's called a clapback.
Academic clapback.
Yeah. No, I think it's like just a commentary paper.
You think they're seething when they read that? It's like the person who originally devised this study is just like, oh, hey, damn, how dare you try to say confounding variables? It doesn't probably feel good.
So there's two ways they could go, where they could go like, oh, that is a good thing. Like, let's see if we have that data available and let's like re-add that to the analysis and like publish another paper out of this. Or they could try to come up with ways to like post hoc rationalize it and be like, well, actually, no, that actually wouldn't affect this because of X, Y, and Z, and trying to basically just discredit their retort.
But don't these journals sort of function like a social media feed where can't you defend yourself from someone else's retort or reply?
Yeah, you would just publish another paper.
So much effort just to clap back.
Yeah, it's not like you can't just tweet out, subtweet someone.
Fuck this, bro. Fuck this guy.
Yeah. I'm gonna ratio you. All right, this is the part of the episode where we talk about the follow-up research that we conducted. And if you're liking the video so far, you can help us out by booping the like button and subscribing just so you don't miss any future episodes. This episode was about the hungry judge effect. So I wanted to explore what foods do people crave when experiencing different emotions.
I would have loved to answer this question.
Yeah.
And maybe I will in this episode. Who knows? Yeah.
So what foods do people crave when experiencing different emotions? I asked people, let's say you are experiencing, and then I had a placeholder for different emotions. Let's say you're experiencing emotion X. Which type of food do you crave? Select all that apply. And then I gave people these options. Sweet treats, such as ice cream, chocolate, cupcakes, or gummy candies. Salty snacks, potato chips, french fries, popcorn, chips, and salsa.
I love that.
Carbohydrate-rich foods, pizza, pasta, bread, rice dishes, and cheeseburgers. Indulgent desserts, cheesecake, chocolate lava cake, and brownies. Savory comfort foods, fried chicken, lasagna, and barbecue ribs.
Gosh, I want that now. Can we stop
Spicy
this podcast?
Foods. Chicken wings, chili, spicy curry, and buffalo chicken sandwich.
Oh, man, I love it.
And then you're going to love this one. Other.
Oh, man. Who knows what I'll pick at that point? Who knows?
So we surveyed 327 people and we gave them different emotions, and we'll go through the results for each one to see what foods do people crave
Okay.
when experiencing different emotions.
Interesting.
First of all, I asked one more little question.
Okay.
Do you tend to eat food as a way to cope with or regulate your emotions? And I asked people to rate, never, rarely, sometimes, often, or always. 50% of people, about 50%, said they sometimes eat food as a way to cope
Wow.
with or regulate your emotions.
Okay.
And if you're totaling the others, the often and always, 50% of 75, about 81% at least use food as a coping mechanism some of the times. 25% do it often, 6% do it always.
I'm in that always camp for sure. 100%. 100%.
Now for the actual specific emotions. So sad people crave sweet treats and salty snacks.
Interesting.
So let's say you're experiencing sadness. Which type of food do you crave? Select all that apply. And so sweet treats, which is like ice cream, chocolate, and cupcakes, and salty snacks, chips, and french fries, and popcorn. These were the top two most popular emotional foods.
When I'm really sad and depressed, I find myself at a Taco Bell. How I got there, I don't know. But I'm suddenly in the drive-thru ordering 4 Crunchwrap Supremes and one of every single of the dollar value burritos. And what's
So that would be
like carb and spicy, maybe, I guess, depending.
like carb, spicy, maybe savory comfort food. Yeah.
Oh man.
So you do not fall in the salty or sweets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always an outlier. Never a part of the crowd.
Yeah.
Always a wolf,
Okay.
never a sheep. Yep.
Bored people crave salty snacks.
Bored.
Yeah. So if you're bored, this one was really strong. A lot of people want salty snacks when they're feeling bored.
I feel that, yeah.
Yeah. My thought on this is that salty snacks like chips, fries, popcorn, chips, and salsa, these can all be eaten for a long time, creating a better distraction. And this can take your mind off of other things. It's hard to eat a piece of cake for like an hour.
Yeah. Is it really like a small piece? And then I'm sure there's some sort of effect you eat from, like, you eat, I don't know what it is. Sometimes in the food science, you food sciences, y'all tripping. You take a bite of a chip, like, man, I thought this would be my last one. Nah. Gotta get myself one more.
Nah. Yeah. Chips are super addictive. It's hard to eat just one. That's what they say.
What did they say?
One of the participants on this question said for the other category, most people didn't put other and inputted their own things, but one person did for this one. They said when they're bored, they eat, quote, seafood that is complicated to eat and prepare, like blue crab claws, or a bunch of peanuts in the shell to give me something to do.
Okay, someone is either trying to be funny.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Makes sense to me.
Funny, or it's just some weird, bizarre rule. The crab is readily available. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm bored,
because I think salty snacks or peanuts in a shell.
I like to have, caviar, some lobster. So
maybe some Alaskan king crab. Whatever. It's whatever, though.
Whatever's around the house, Whatever's just lying around, ready for
something that's like hard to prepare, like pufferfish. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay. We gotta. Have you ever been tempted to be, when you get these responses, just like send a personal email to them, like, but why though? Like, hey, can I have I just want to know what's in your mind, dude. I just want to know, like, what's going on with that response.
Yeah. Like, how much did you eat blue crab and crab claws? Maybe a lot. Maybe they live in an area where they get it a lot. I don't know.
Yeah, to be fair,
I think I have like once a year, maybe, if
coastal
that.
town, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Anxious people crave salty snacks. This one was a little more balanced, but salty snacks mostly, and then sweet treats, and then carb-rich foods. So I'm guessing, for similar reasons, salty snacks provide a longer-term distraction. So anxious people, it kind of takes their mind off of things. It gives them something to do with their hands, and it's just reduces the anxiety that way.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's just the crunchiness too of the salty snack as well. Maybe that's helping.
Yeah.
Like
texture
the
adds like another
yeah.
kind of like mode of taste.
Of the experience, right? Of the tactile experience, which is eating.
Oh yeah. The tactile experience of eating, baby. Happy people crave sweet treats.
Okay. Somehow that fits.
This makes sense. So
yeah,
sweet treats and indulgent desserts were the top two. And this kind of makes sense. When you're happy, you see sweet treats as like a reward or a
Just
celebration.
treat yourself to a cake or something.
You eat,
Yeah.
exactly.
There's always someone bringing donuts in the morning in your 9 to 5. Yeah.
And that person's usually probably pretty happy. The person that brings donuts like in the morning, they probably have like their life together.
That's true. I have never met like a person who's giving out donuts that, like, oh, I don't know if I should get a donut from you. You're always like, usually the people you're very easy to like approach.
It's because those people, they already love themselves so much that they have enough love to give out.
Oh. Also, they listen to this podcast and now using this information to manipulate others. So
you can use it to manipulate others if you make their bellies full, give them a little snack. Hey, you can have a raise. By the way, here's a Twix bar.
hey, you're fired. Hey, here's a piece of cake. Here's a strawberry.
How about you eat this cake and think it over?
Just open a backpack. Just have like a cake on a plastic wrap over like a white plate. It's like, no, you take it. I'm not gonna eat it. It's pretty good.
You start laying out some Alaskan king crab legs. I think you're gonna want to rethink that.
You put the bib on their shirt.
Shh. Just dip it into the butter. Just think about it.
All pre-cracked.
Nothing has to change here.
Yikes.
All right, so a summary of the emotional food cravings.
Yeah.
Salty snacks and sweet treats are the most common foods for emotional eating. So salty snacks can provide a distraction since they can be eaten for longer periods of time, and they're a little more active, like, dipping chips into salsa, fries into ketchup, Whereas sweet treats can provide indulgence that is more accessible than like desserts like cake. And here's one of the things that is a potential flaw in my research. These results may have more to do with what foods are typically available in one's home. Salty snacks and sweet treats like ice cream are more common to have readily available compared to like pizza, cheesecake, and fried chicken.
And Alaskan blue crab.
And Alaskan king crab legs.
Yeah.
Most people have like chips and maybe like one tub of ice cream in their freezer.
That's fair, yeah.
Not many people have like cheesecake or like lasagna lying around.
Yeah, these are not foods you just can easily just put in your pantry and just let it sit there for maybe a week.
Yeah. So emotional eating, especially like boredom or sadness. If you're sad and you want like fried chicken, like to make the trip to go out and get it, or to even like make it yourself, that's already like a lot of effort. You're probably just going to gravitate toward like what you have available.
Or you're like me and you're automatically transported to a Taco Bell drive-thru.
Yeah, you just black in and then black out, and then you're laying on your bed with crumbs all over yourself.
Yeah, fucking the fire hot sauce, the package is slightly like 4 of them ripped open. One of them that you accidentally squirted out a little bit the fire hot sauce, so it's on the table. Yeah.
Oh man, feelings of regret.
Yeah,
sadness,
four wrappers.
depression.
Yeah, 4 wraps of like of each burrito that you laid on top of each other and you curled up into a giant ball. Yeah, man.
This is oddly specific, Joseph.
Who knows? Everyone has this experience sometime.
I mean, whatever's lying around, though.
Chips, blue crabs, Taco Bell. Yeah. So you're saying that when people in this little caveat you had right here, or your asterisk, you're saying you thinking when people filled out the survey, they were probably thinking like, when I'm feeling this emotion at this moment in time.
Yeah, I was trying to measure like cravings. When you're sad, what do you crave? Not necessarily what do you have available and want to eat. It's kind of easier to remember times that you were sad and think about, okay, what did I eat then? And that usually is just determined by what foods you have available in the house. Yeah. So maybe I should have just ran a study being like, hey, what kind of foods do you have in your cabinet? And maybe the results would have been the same. Who knows? But we did see the distinction between happiness and boredom, salty versus sweet. So,
okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.